Hello there, and welcome to Mind Whisper. Tonight, we're embarking on a journey through one of the most extraordinary structures in existence, the human body, your body. This vessel you inhabit every single moment of your existence contains more wonders than we could explore in a lifetime, let alone a single evening. But as your eyes grow heavy and your breathing slows, we'll travel together through some of the most fascinating aspects of what makes you, you. Feel free to drift off whenever sleep calls to you. There's no pressure to hear every word, no test to pass, no details you must remember. This is simply an invitation to marvel at the biological poetry that keeps you alive, to appreciate the silent symphony playing out beneath your skin right now, in this very moment. Whether you listen to the end or fall asleep in the first few minutes, you're exactly where you need to be. So settle in. Adjust your pillows one last time. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Release any tension you're holding in your jaw, your hands, your feet. And join me as we explore the remarkable machine that is the human body. Right now, as you lie there breathing softly, your body contains approximately 37 trillion cells. 37 trillion. That number is so vast it becomes almost meaningless to our minds. To put it in perspective, if you tried to count to 37 trillion, counting one number per second without stopping, it would take you more than 1,000,000 years. And yet, that's how many individual cells are working together right now to create the experience of being you. Each of these cells is like a tiny city unto itself. Within the microscopic boundaries of a single cell, thousands of chemical reactions occur every second. Proteins fold and unfold. Energy molecules get created and consumed. Genetic instructions get read and executed. And all of this happens without you ever having to think about it, without you even being aware it's occurring. Every single second, your body creates 25 million new cells. 25 million. In the time it takes you to read this sentence, your body has manufactured enough cells to populate a small city. These aren't just random cells being produced haphazardly. Each one is created with precision, assigned a specific role, and sent to exactly where it needs to be. Skin cells migrate to the surface. Blood cells enter the circulatory system. Immune cells stand ready to defend against invaders. It's a manufacturing process that makes even the most advanced factory look primitive by comparison. Consider what this means. In just 15 seconds, you create more cells than there are people in the United States. In a single day, you produce more than 2 trillion new cells. Over the course of a year, that number becomes almost incomprehensible. And yet, your body manages this feat without you ever issuing a single conscious command. Within almost every one of your cells lies something even more remarkable. A strand of DNA, coiled and folded with extraordinary precision. If you were to carefully unwind the DNA from a single cell and stretch it out to its full length, it would measure approximately 2 meters. 2 full meters of genetic code, packed into a nucleus so small you couldn't see it without a microscope. This DNA contains the instructions for building and operating you. Every protein your body needs, every enzyme, every structural component, it's all encoded in this molecular library. Now imagine multiplying that by the number of cells in your body. If you could take all the DNA from all your cells and lay it out in a single line, it would stretch from Earth to the Sun and back more than 300 times. That's how much genetic information you're carrying around with you right now. You are, quite literally, a walking library of astronomical proportions. But DNA doesn't just sit there passively. Right now, in cells throughout your body, segments of your DNA are being carefully unzipped. Molecular machines are reading specific genes, transcribing them into RNA, and using those instructions to build the proteins your body needs. This happens millions of times every second. It's a dance of molecules so intricate, so precisely choreographed, that scientists are still unraveling its mysteries, decades after discovering how it works. And here's something extraordinary to consider as you drift towards sleep. Not all of your cells are the same age. Some of the neurons in your brain have been with you since birth. They've recorded every memory you've ever formed, processed every thought you've ever had, experienced every emotion you've ever felt. These cells are as old as you are. They contain within them, in some metaphysical sense, your entire history. But other cells are brand new. The cells lining your gut were created just a few days ago. The red blood cells flowing through your veins right now have only existed for a few weeks or months. Your skin cells might be just weeks old. You are not a static thing, fixed and unchanging. You are a river, constantly flowing, constantly renewing, always becoming something new while somehow remaining yourself. Your body is continuously engaged in a process of destruction and creation, death and rebirth. Old cells die and are broken down, their components recycled and repurposed. New cells take their place, fresh and ready to perform their appointed tasks. On average, your body replaces about 1% of its cells each day. That means, roughly speaking, you get a new body about every 3 months. The you that exists right now is not quite the same you that existed 3 months ago, at least not at the cellular level. And yet, despite this constant turnover, you remain you. Your memories persist. Your personality continues. Your sense of identity remains intact. How does the continuity of self survive this perpetual revolution of cells? It's one of the deep mysteries that sits at the intersection of biology and philosophy, science and consciousness. Let's talk about what gives your body its shape, its structure, its ability to stand and move and interact with the physical world: your skeleton. When you were born, you had approximately 300 bones in your tiny body. 300 separate pieces of mineralized tissue, many of them still soft and cartilaginous, slowly hardening as you grew. But over time, as you developed from infant to child, to adolescent to adult, many of these bones fused together. By the time you reached full physical maturity, you were left with 206 bones. This might seem like a reduction, a loss of something, but it's actually a remarkable feat of biological engineering. Those fusions created strength where strength was needed. They formed solid structures in places that required stability. Your skull, for instance, started as separate plates that could shift and compress as you passed through the birth canal. Gradually, those plates knitted together, creating a solid case to protect your brain. The same process occurred throughout your skeleton, turning flexibility into strength, mobility into stability, precisely where and when your body needed it. More than half of your bones are located in your hands, wrists, feet, and ankles. Think about that for a moment. These relatively small areas of your body contain over 100 bones, working together in intricate harmony to give you the dexterity to write, to play an instrument, to manipulate objects with extraordinary precision. Your hand alone contains 27 bones, working with 34 muscles and more than 100 ligaments and tendons. It's a mechanical marvel that allows you to perform everything from delicate surgery to throwing a ball, from typing on a keyboard to feeling the texture of fabric. Your bones might seem static, permanent, unchanging, but they're anything but. Right now, as you rest quietly, your bones are alive with activity. Throughout your skeleton, specialized cells called osteoclasts are dissolving old bone tissue, breaking it down molecule by molecule. Simultaneously, other cells called osteoblasts are building new bone tissue, laying down fresh layers of mineral-rich matrix. This process, called bone remodeling, never stops. Every 10 years or so, you completely replace your entire skeleton. The bones you have right now are not the same bones you had a decade ago. They're new bones, built cell by cell, mineral by mineral, to replace the old ones. Your skeleton responds to how you use it. If you take up running, your leg bones become denser, stronger. better able to handle the repeated impact. If you lift weights, your bones thicken where muscles pull on them. If you become sedentary, your bones gradually lose density, becoming more fragile. Your skeleton is constantly rewriting itself based on the demands you place upon it. Consider the strength of your bones. Pound for pound, bone tissue is stronger than steel. A block of bone the size of a matchbox can support the weight of a small car, approximately 18,000 pounds of pressure. And yet bones aren't solid all the way through. They're hollow in the center, filled with bone marrow. This design gives them maximum strength with minimum weight. If your bones were solid, you'd be far too heavy to move efficiently. The hollow structure is a perfect balance between strength and lightness, protection and mobility. Inside those hollow spaces, something remarkable is happening. Your bone marrow is producing blood cells. Approximately 2 million red blood cells are created every single second. These cells will carry oxygen to every tissue in your body, delivering the fuel that keeps you alive. They'll survive for about 120 days before being broken down and replaced. White blood cells are also being manufactured, ready to defend you against invaders. Platelets are formed, prepared to seal any wounds you might suffer. Your bones aren't just structural supports, they're factories, constantly producing the cells you need to survive. Your skeleton also serves as a storage system for minerals, particularly calcium and phosphorus. When your blood calcium levels drop, your bones release calcium into your bloodstream. When levels rise, your bones absorb the excess. This constant exchange helps maintain the precise balance your body needs. Too much or too little calcium in your blood can be dangerous, even deadly. Your bones act as both warehouse and regulator, ensuring that balance is maintained. The largest bone in your body is your femur, your thigh bone. In an average adult, it's about 20 inches long and strong enough to support 30 times your body weight. The smallest bone is the stirrup, or stapes, located deep in your middle ear. It's about the size of a grain of rice, roughly 1/10 of an inch long. Yet despite its tiny size, it plays a crucial role in your chassis, ability to hear, transmitting vibrations from your eardrum to your inner ear. Your bones provide structure, but they can't move on their own. For that, you need muscles. Your body contains more than 600 individual muscles, ranging from the massive to the microscopic, from the powerful to the delicate. Together, these muscles make up between 30 and 40% of your total body weight. If you weigh 150 pounds, somewhere between 45 and 60 pounds of that is pure muscle. You have 3 types of muscle tissue. Skeletal muscle, the kind that attaches to your bones and allows voluntary movement. Smooth muscle, found in your blood vessels and organs, working continuously without conscious control. And cardiac muscle, found only in your heart, with its own unique properties that allow it to contract rhythmically for your entire life without ever resting. The skeletal muscles are the ones you can consciously control. When you decide to pick up a cup, to walk across a room, to smile at someone, you're activating your skeletal muscles. But even this supposedly voluntary system has layers of automation. Try this. Think about taking a step forward. Don't actually do it. Just think about it. In that thought, your brain would coordinate dozens of muscles, adjusting tension, timing, and force in ways you could never consciously manage. You tell your body to walk, and it handles all the details. It takes approximately 17 muscles to create a smile. These muscles work together to pull your lips upward, crease your cheeks, and crinkle the corners of your eyes. It's a complex choreography that happens in an instant, without any conscious thought on your part. The muscles that move your eyes are among the most active in your body, contracting around 100,000 times per day. That's just from normal eye movements and blinking. The muscles in your face are capable of creating more than 10,000 different expressions, allowing you to communicate emotion with extraordinary subtlety. The largest muscle in your body is your gluteus maximus, your buttock muscle. This powerful muscle does more than just provide a place to sit. It's crucial for standing upright, for climbing stairs, for running and jumping. It's one of the muscles that makes human bipedalism possible. The smallest skeletal muscle is the stapedius, found in your middle ear, right next to that tiny stirrup bone we mentioned. Its job is to dampen loud sounds, protecting your delicate inner ear from damage. It's less than 1 millimeter long, yet it performs a vital function. Your muscles are always working, even when you think you're at rest. Right now, as you lie still, your muscles maintain what's called muscle tone. There's a baseline level of tension in your muscles, keeping them ready to respond, maintaining your posture, preventing you from collapsing into a shapeless heap. Even during sleep, muscle tone persists in most muscles. It's only during certain stages of deep sleep that some muscles fully relax, and even then, not all of them. When you exercise a muscle, you're not actually making it bigger in the way you might think. You're not adding more muscle cells. Instead, the existing cells grow larger. They accumulate more protein filaments, thicken, become stronger. If you stop exercising, those cells shrink again. But here's something fascinating. When you train intensely, your muscle cells can add extra nuclei. These nuclei stick around even if the muscle shrinks from disuse. So when you return to training, that muscle can grow back faster than it did the first time. Your muscles literally remember being stronger. Muscles only pull, they can't push. That's why they work in pairs, called antagonistic pairs. When you bend your arm, your bicep contracts while your tricep relaxes. When you straighten your arm, the roles reverse. This push-pull system allows for smooth, controlled movement. Without it, you'd be limited to jerky, all-or-nothing motions. The strongest muscle, relative to its size, is your masseter, your jaw muscle. It can exert more than 200 pounds of force on your molars. That's enough pressure to crack a walnut. Your tongue, often called the strongest muscle in the body, isn't actually a single muscle. It's a complex structure made of 8 different muscles working together. These muscles give your tongue its remarkable flexibility, allowing it to shape sounds for speech, manipulate food for chewing and swallowing, and sense the 5 basic tastes and countless flavor combinations. Every muscle in your body is supplied with blood vessels bringing oxygen and nutrients, removing waste products. Every muscle is connected to the nervous system, receiving signals that tell it when to contract and when to relax. The coordination required for even simple movements is staggering. Reaching out to pick up a glass involves hundreds of muscles, precisely timed and coordinated. Your brain calculates trajectories, adjusts for the weight of the object, maintains balance, all in real time. And you do it without thinking, without any conscious awareness of the complexity involved. While your bones provide structure and your muscles provide movement, neither could function without a constant supply of fresh blood. Your cardiovascular system is the transportation network that makes everything else possible. At its center is your heart, a muscular pump roughly the size of your clenched fist, beating approximately 100,000 times every single day. That's about 35 million times per year, more than 2.5 billion times over an average lifetime. With each beat, your heart generates enough pressure to push blood throughout your entire body. If your aorta, the main artery leaving your heart, were opened, the pressure would be strong enough to squirt blood more than 30 feet into the air. Your heart creates this pressure through the coordinated contraction of cardiac muscle, a unique type of muscle found nowhere else in your body. Unlike skeletal muscle, which fatigues and needs rest, cardiac muscle can contract continuously for decades without ever stopping. Your heart has its own electrical system, a natural pacemaker called the sinoatrial node. This cluster of specialized cells generates electrical impulses about 60 to 100 times per minute, setting the rhythm of your heartbeat. These impulses spread through your heart in a carefully timed wave, causing the chambers to contract in sequence. First, the atria, the upper chambers, squeeze blood into the ventricles. Then the ventricles, the lower chambers, contract powerfully, sending blood out to your lungs and the rest of your body. This electrical system is so reliable that your heart can continue beating even if removed from your body, as long as it's supplied with oxygen. Transplant surgeons take advantage of this fact, maintaining donor hearts outside the body for several hours before transplantation. Your heart doesn't need instructions from your brain to beat. It has its own rhythm, its own drive, its own life force in a sense. The blood your heart pumps travels through an enormous network of vessels. If you could somehow lay out all your blood vessels end to end, they would stretch for approximately 60,000 to 100,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth more than 4 times. Most of this distance comes from capillaries, the tiniest blood vessels. These microscopic tubes are so narrow that red blood cells have to pass through them in single file, squeezing and deforming to fit. It's in these capillaries that the magic of circulation happens. Oxygen and nutrients pass from the blood into the surrounding tissues. Carbon dioxide and waste products move from the tissues back into the blood. The walls of capillaries are just 1 cell thick, allowing for easy exchange while still keeping the blood contained. Without this exchange, your cells would quickly starve and suffocate, drowning in their own waste. Your heart pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood every day. That's enough to fill a small above-ground swimming pool. Over a year, that's more than 700,000 gallons. Over a lifetime, assuming you live 80 years, your heart will pump about 56 million gallons. All of this happens automatically, adjusted moment by moment to meet your body's changing needs. When you're resting quietly, as you are now, your heart beats relatively slowly. Your blood pressure drops. Your vessels dilate slightly, allowing blood to flow more easily. Less oxygen is needed, so less blood is pumped to your muscles. But when you exercise, everything changes. Your heart rate increases, sometimes more than doubling. Your blood pressure rises. Blood vessels in your muscles dilate, while vessels in your digestive system constrict, redirecting blood to where it's needed most. Your body can make these adjustments in seconds, responding instantly to changing demands. Your heart prioritizes certain organs above all others. Your brain and heart itself receive blood flow first and foremost. Cut off blood flow to your brain for just a few seconds and you lose consciousness. Keep it cut off for 4 minutes and you suffer permanent brain damage. Your brain uses about 20% of all the oxygen your body consumes, despite making up only about 2% of your body weight. This oxygen hunger drives your cardiovascular system's design, ensuring that no matter what else happens, your brain keeps receiving the fuel it needs. The blood itself is a remarkable fluid. It's made up of several components: red blood cells, which carry oxygen; white blood cells, which fight infection; platelets, which help blood clot; and plasma, the liquid component that carries nutrients, hormones, and waste products. About 55% of your blood is plasma, which is itself about 90% water. The other 45% consists of the various cell types. A single drop of blood contains about 5 million red blood cells, 10,000 white blood cells, and 250,000 platelets. That tiny drop contains more red blood cells than there are people in a medium-sized city. And your body contains about 10 pints of blood, though this varies based on your size. That's millions upon millions of cells, all working together to keep you alive. Red blood cells are remarkable in their own right. Unlike most cells, mature red blood cells don't have a nucleus. They've expelled it to make more room for hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen. This gives them their distinctive disc shape and allows them to carry more oxygen than would otherwise be possible. But it also means they can't divide or repair themselves. They last about 120 days before being broken down and replaced. Every second, your body destroys about 2 million red blood cells and creates 2 million new ones to replace them. All of these systems, circulatory, skeletal, muscular, and more, are coordinated by your nervous system. At its center is your brain, arguably the most complex structure in the known universe. Your brain contains approximately 86 to 100 billion neurons. Each of these neurons can form connections, called synapses, with thousands of other neurons. The total number of synaptic connections in your brain is estimated at over 100 trillion. That's more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. These connections form networks of stunning complexity. Every thought you have, every memory you form, every sensation you experience emerges from patterns of electrical activity flowing through these networks. Neuroscientists can observe this activity, can map which regions activate during different tasks, can even predict some thoughts based on brain activity patterns. But how this electrical activity becomes conscious experience, how neurons firing create the feeling of being you, remains one of the deepest mysteries in science. Your brain weighs about 3 pounds, roughly 1.5 kilograms. Yet despite its small size relative to your body, it consumes an enormous amount of energy. About 20% of all the oxygen and blood sugar your body uses goes to your brain. This makes sense when you consider what your brain does. It's constantly active, processing sensory information, controlling your body, maintaining consciousness. Even during sleep, your brain remains remarkably active, sometimes more active than during waking hours. The electrical signals in your brain move astonishingly fast. Nerve impulses can travel at speeds exceeding 250 miles per hour. That's faster than a Formula One race car. When you touch something hot and jerk your hand away, the signal travels from your hand to your spinal cord and back to your hand in a fraction of a second, faster than conscious thought. This rapid transmission is made possible by myelin, a fatty substance that wraps around nerve fibers and acts as insulation, allowing electrical signals to jump rapidly from node to node. Your brain has no pain receptors. The organ responsible for interpreting every pain signal in your body cannot itself feel pain. This is why neurosurgeons can operate on a conscious patient's brain. The brain can be touched, cut, even electrically stimulated, and the patient feels nothing in the brain tissue itself. Of course, the tissues surrounding the brain, the meninges, blood vessels, and scalp, do have pain receptors, which is why headaches occur. During sleep, your brain is far from idle. In fact, during certain sleep stages, particularly rapid eye movement sleep, some regions of your brain show more activity than during waking hours. This is when most vivid dreaming occurs. Your brain is processing the day's experiences, consolidating memories, solving problems, clearing out waste products that accumulated during waking hours. Sleep isn't just rest. It's when your brain does some of its most important work. Your brain can generate enough electrical power to light a small bulb. All those neurons firing constantly create measurable electrical activity. Scientists can detect and record this activity using electroencephalography, placing electrodes on your scalp and measuring the tiny voltages produced by your brain's electrical symphony. Different patterns of electrical activity correspond to different mental states: waking, sleeping, dreaming, concentrating. The brain is remarkably plastic, capable of rewiring itself throughout life. When you learn something new, physical changes occur in your brain. Neurons form new connections. Existing connections strengthen or weaken. Entire regions can grow or shrink depending on how they're used. London taxi drivers, who must memorize the entire complex layout of the city, have been shown to have enlarged hippocampi, the brain region responsible for spatial memory. Musicians who play string instruments show enlargement in the areas controlling their left-hand fingers. Your brain literally reshapes itself based on your experiences. After injury, this plasticity allows for remarkable recovery. If one brain region is damaged, other regions can sometimes take over its functions, at least partially. This is most pronounced in children, whose brains are still developing and more flexible. But even adult brains retain some ability to compensate for damage, to find new pathways around obstacles, to adapt and recover. Your brain contains a virtual model of your body. In your cerebral cortex, there's a map, called the homunculus, where different regions correspond to different body parts. Interestingly, this map isn't proportional to actual body size. Areas with greater sensitivity or motor control, like your hands and lips, take up much more space than areas like your back or legs. Your brain dedicates more processing power to the parts of your body that need fine control or detailed sensation. The brain also manages your perception of time, though we don't fully understand how. Time can seem to fly when you're engaged in something interesting, or drag when you're bored. Under extreme stress or danger, time can seem to slow down, though this is likely a trick of memory, your brain recording more detailed memories that make the event seem longer in retrospect. Your perception of time is flexible, subjective, constructed by your brain rather than directly experienced. Your brain creates consciousness, that sense of being you, of experiencing the world from a first-person perspective. But what consciousness actually is, how it emerges from the physical matter of your brain, remains mysterious. Scientists have identified neural correlates of consciousness, brain activity patterns associated with conscious experience. But correlation isn't explanation. The hard problem of consciousness, how and why physical processes give rise to subjective experience, remains unsolved. Let's shift our attention to another crucial system, one that processes the fuel your body needs to keep functioning. Your digestive system is a remarkable factory, breaking down everything you eat into molecules small enough to be absorbed and used. The entire digestive tract, from your mouth to your anus, is about 30 feet long in an adult. That's the height of a 3-story building, folded and coiled up to fit inside your torso. Digestion actually begins before you take your first bite. When you see food, when you smell it, your brain triggers salivary glands to start producing saliva. Your mouth begins to water, literally, in anticipation of food. Once you start eating, your teeth grind the food into smaller pieces, while saliva moistens it and begins breaking down carbohydrates. The enzyme amylase, present in saliva, starts converting starches into sugars. Your salivary glands produce between 1 and 2 liters of saliva every day. That's enough to fill several large bottles. Over a lifetime, you'll produce approximately 25,000 quarts of saliva, enough to fill 2 swimming pools. Saliva does more than just moisten food. It contains antibacterial compounds that help prevent tooth decay and infection. It contains enzymes that begin digestion. It even contains substances that help heal small wounds in your mouth. After you swallow, food travels down your esophagus, a muscular tube connecting your mouth to your stomach. Your esophagus uses waves of muscular contraction, called peristalsis, to push food downward. This process is so effective that you could eat while hanging upside down, and food would still reach your stomach. The esophageal sphincter at the bottom of your esophagus opens to let food into your stomach, then closes to prevent stomach acid from flowing back up. Your stomach is an incredible organ. It's a muscular sac that can expand to hold about a liter of food, though it can stretch even further if necessary. The walls of your stomach churn and mix food with gastric juice, a potent mixture of hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes. This acid is strong enough to dissolve metal. In laboratory tests, stomach acid can break down a razor blade, given enough time. So why doesn't your stomach digest itself? The answer lies in one of the body's most remarkable protective mechanisms. The stomach lining produces a thick layer of mucus that shields the cells from the acid. Behind this protective barrier, the stomach lining constantly regenerates itself. Every 3 to 4 days, you get a completely new stomach lining. The cells are produced, migrate up to the surface, do their job for a few days, and then are shed and replaced. Without this constant renewal, ulcers would quickly form, and your stomach would literally begin digesting itself. Food typically stays in your stomach for 1 to 4 hours, depending on what you've eaten. Proteins take longer to break down than carbohydrates or fats. Eventually, the food is transformed into a semi-liquid mixture called chyme, which is gradually released into your small intestine through the pyloric sphincter. Your small intestine is where most digestion and nutrient absorption occurs. Despite its name, the small intestine is actually the longest part of your digestive tract, measuring about 20 to 25 feet in an adult. It's called small because of its diameter, which is much narrower than the large intestine. The small intestine is divided into 3 sections: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. In the duodenum, chyme mixes with bile from your liver and digestive enzymes from your pancreas. Bile helps break down fats into smaller droplets that enzymes can work on. The pancreatic enzymes continue the breakdown of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. The walls of the small intestine are lined with millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi, and each villus is covered with even smaller projections called microvilli. These structures massively increase the surface area available for absorption. If you could flatten out your small intestine, including all these projections, the total surface area would be about 30 to 40 square meters, roughly the size of a studio apartment. It's through these villi that nutrients pass into your bloodstream. Amino acids from proteins, simple sugars from carbohydrates, fatty acids and glycerol from fats, vitamins, minerals, all are absorbed here and transported to where they're needed. Your blood carries most nutrients first to your liver, which processes them, stores some, and distributes the rest throughout your body. The process of moving through your small intestine takes about 4 to 6 hours. By the time material reaches your large intestine, most nutrients have been extracted. What remains is mainly water, fiber, and waste. Your large intestine, about 5 to 6 feet, long and wider than the small intestine, absorbs water and salts from this remaining material, concentrating it into solid feces. Bacteria in your large intestine, part of your gut microbiome, break down some of the remaining material, producing vitamins like vitamin K in the process. Your intestines have their own nervous system, sometimes called the second brain. The enteric nervous system contains over 100 million neurons, more than your spinal cord. It can control digestion independently of your brain, though the two systems communicate extensively. This gut-brain axis influences not just digestion, but also mood and behavior. The connection between gut and brain helps explain why stress can cause stomach problems and why your gut feelings can actually influence your emotional state. The entire journey from mouth to elimination takes anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, depending on individual factors and what you've eaten. In that time, your digestive system has broken down complex molecules into simple ones, extracted nutrients and water, and prepared waste for elimination. It's a continuous process, a chemical assembly line that never stops, ensuring your body has the fuel and building blocks it needs. While your digestive system processes nutrients, another system works tirelessly to protect you from harm. Your immune system is your body's defense force, a complex network of cells, tissues, and organs that guards against infection, disease, and any foreign invader that might threaten your health. Your immune system operates on multiple levels. The first line of defense is physical barriers. Your skin forms a nearly impenetrable wall. Mucous membranes in your nose, throat, and lungs trap particles and pathogens. Stomach acid kills many microorganisms that make it past your mouth. Beneficial bacteria on your skin and in your gut compete with harmful ones, keeping their populations in check. When pathogens do breach these barriers, your innate immune system responds. This is the rapid response team that attacks invaders indiscriminately. White blood cells called neutrophils and macrophages patrol your body constantly, looking for anything that doesn't belong. When they find a bacterium or virus, they engulf and destroy it. These cells can follow chemical signals released by infected cells, navigating through tissues like bloodhounds following a scent. This process, called chemotaxis, allows immune cells to zero in on infection sites with remarkable precision. Your body also produces complement proteins that coat pathogens, marking them for destruction and punching holes in bacterial cell walls. Natural killer cells hunt for virus-infected cells and cancer cells, destroying them before they can cause widespread damage. Inflammation, though uncomfortable, is actually a sign your immune system is working. Blood vessels dilate, bringing more immune cells to the area. Fluid leaks into tissues, causing swelling. All of this is designed to isolate and destroy invaders. But your most sophisticated defense is your adaptive immune system. This is where immunological memory comes in. When your body encounters a new pathogen, specialized white blood cells called lymphocytes learn to recognize it. B cells produce antibodies, proteins that bind specifically to that pathogen. T cells learn to recognize and kill infected cells. This process takes days to weeks initially, which is why you feel sick when encountering a new infection. The remarkable thing is what happens after. Some of those B cells and T cells become memory cells, long-lived cells that patrol your body for years or even decades, carrying the memory of that specific pathogen. If you encounter the same invader again, these memory cells respond within hours, often stopping the infection before you even notice symptoms. This is how immunity works, and it's the principle behind vaccination, training your immune system to recognize a pathogen without having to suffer through the full disease. Your thymus, a small organ behind your breastbone, is where T cells mature and learn to distinguish self from non-self. This education is crucial. Your immune system must be aggressive enough to destroy invaders, but restrained enough not to attack your own body. Sometimes this process goes wrong, resulting in autoimmune diseases where the immune system attacks healthy tissue. But most of the time, it works remarkably well, maintaining a delicate balance between vigilance and tolerance. Your lymphatic system is integral to immune function. This network of vessels, parallel to your cardiovascular system, drains fluid from tissues and filters it through lymph nodes. You have between 500 and 600 lymph nodes scattered throughout your body, concentrated in areas like your neck, armpits, and groin. When you have an infection, nearby lymph nodes often swell. This happens because they're full of immune cells working overtime to fight the infection. Lymph fluid circulates slowly through your body, propelled not by a central pump like blood, but by the movement of your muscles and the pulsing of nearby arteries. In your lymph nodes, immune cells screen the fluid for pathogens, dead cells, and anything suspicious. They communicate with each other using chemical signals, coordinating responses and calling for backup when needed. Your spleen, an organ about the size of your fist located under your ribs on your left side, filters your blood similarly. It removes old or damaged red blood cells, recycles their components, and watches for pathogens. It also serves as a reservoir of immune cells, ready to be deployed when needed. While you can survive without your spleen, people who have theirs removed are more susceptible to certain infections. Throughout your body, you carry trillions of microorganisms. Bacteria primarily, but also fungi, viruses, and other microscopic life forms. These organisms, collectively called your microbiome, outnumber your own human cells. You are, in a very real sense, more microbial than human, at least by cell count. Most of these microbes are harmless or even beneficial. They help digest food, produce vitamins, train your immune system, and crowd out harmful species. Your gut microbiome alone weighs about 3 pounds, roughly the same as your brain. This collection of bacteria helps break down dietary fiber, producing short-chain fatty acids that nourish your intestinal cells. They produce vitamin K, essential for blood clotting, and certain B vitamins. They even influence your brain chemistry, producing neurotransmitters and communicating with your nervous system through the vagus nerve. Everyone's microbiome is unique, influenced by birth method, early feeding, diet, environment, and genetics. It's like a fingerprint, but one that changes over time. Antibiotics can dramatically disrupt your microbiome, which is why they sometimes cause digestive issues. It can take weeks or months for your microbial community to recover and re-establish its normal balance. Research increasingly suggests that the microbiome plays roles we're only beginning to understand, influencing everything from obesity and diabetes to mood disorders and even autism. The relationship between humans and their microbiome is deeply symbiotic. We provide them with a stable environment and constant food supply. They provide us with services we can't perform ourselves. We've evolved together, human and microbe, for millions of years. Your sensory systems are how you experience reality, how you gather information about the world around you. Let's start with perhaps your most complex sense, vision. Your eyes are remarkable organs, capable of distinguishing more than 10 million different colors. They can adjust to light levels ranging from bright sunlight to near darkness. They can track moving objects, perceive depth, and create a seamless panorama from two slightly different images. Light enters your eye through the cornea, a transparent dome that provides most of your eye's focusing power. Interestingly, the cornea has no blood vessels. Blood vessels would interfere with vision, creating shadows or distortions. So how does the cornea get oxygen and nutrients? It absorbs oxygen directly from the air, especially when you blink and spread tears across its surface. The fluid inside your eye, the aqueous humor, provides nutrients. Behind the cornea is your iris, the colored part of your eye. The iris is a muscle that controls pupil size, dilating in dim light to let more light in, and constricting in bright light to prevent overload. Your pupil can change size in a fraction of a second, constantly adjusting to maintain optimal light levels. Behind the iris sits your lens, a flexible structure that fine-tunes focus. Unlike the cornea, which has a fixed shape, your lens can change shape, becoming rounder to focus on nearby objects and flatter for distant ones. This process, called accommodation, is controlled by ciliary muscles. Over time, usually starting in middle age, your lens becomes less flexible, which is why many people need reading glasses as they get older. Light passes through your lens and is focused onto your retina, a thin layer of tissue at the back of your eye. The retina contains two types of light-sensitive cells, rods and cones. Rods are extremely sensitive and work in low light, but they don't detect color. That's why everything looks gray in dim light. You have about 120 million rods in each eye. Cones require more light, but detect color. You have about 6 million cones, divided into 3 types, one sensitive to red light, one to green, and one to blue. By combining signals from these 3 cone types, your brain can create the perception of millions of colors. This is similar to how a computer screen creates colors using just red, green, and blue pixels. The center of your retina, called the fovea, is packed with cones. This is where your vision is sharpest, where you see the most detail and color. The rest of your retina has fewer cones and more rods, giving you peripheral vision that's good at detecting motion, but poor at seeing detail or color. This is why you need to look directly at something to see it clearly. When light hits your photoreceptors, it triggers a chemical reaction that generates an electrical signal. These signals travel through several layers of neurons in your retina before reaching ganglion cells, whose axons form your optic nerve. Your optic nerve carries visual information to your brain, where it's processed and interpreted. There's actually a blind spot in each eye where the optic nerve exits the retina. There are no photoreceptors there, so you can't see anything in that spot. You don't notice this blind spot because your brain fills it in, making assumptions based on surrounding visual information. Your brain is constantly constructing your visual experience, not just passively receiving it. Your brain processes visual information in multiple streams. One pathway, the ventral stream, processes what you're seeing, identifying objects and faces. Another pathway, the dorsal stream, processes where things are and how they're moving. Damage to these different pathways can cause strange conditions. Someone might be able to reach out and grab an object accurately, but be unable to identify what it is, or vice versa. Your eyes are constantly moving, even when you think you're holding them still. These tiny movements, called microsaccades, prevent your photoreceptors from adapting to a static image. If you could perfectly stabilize an image on your retina, it would actually fade from view after a few seconds. Your visual system is designed to detect change, not to process static scenes. Your sense of hearing operates through an equally remarkable mechanism. Sound waves enter your ear canal and strike your eardrum, causing it to vibrate. These vibrations pass through 3 tiny bones in your middle ear: the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. These are the smallest bones in your body. The stirrup, the final bone in this chain, is only about 1/10 of an inch long. These 3 bones amplify the vibrations and transfer them to your inner ear, specifically to the cochlea, a snail-shaped structure filled with fluid. As the stirrup pushes against the cochlea, it creates waves in the fluid. Inside the cochlea, along its spiral length, are thousands of hair cells. These aren't actual hairs, but specialized structures that bend in response to fluid movement. Different hair cells respond to different frequencies. High-pitched sounds cause hair cells near the entrance of the cochlea to bend. Low-pitched sounds affect cells deeper in the spiral. When these hair cells bend, they generate electrical signals that travel along the auditory nerve to your brain. Your brain interprets these signals as sound, determining pitch, volume, and direction. The human ear can detect frequencies ranging from about 20 Hz, a very deep rumble you feel as much as hear, to about 20,000 Hz, a high-pitched whine at the edge of perception. This 10-octave range is impressive, though some animals can hear even wider ranges. As you age, especially with exposure to loud noises, you gradually lose the ability to hear high frequencies. Most adults over 50 can't hear above 15,000 Hz. Your ears also give you your sense of balance. Deep in your inner ear, near the cochlea, are 3 semicircular canals oriented at right angles to each other. These canals are filled with fluid and lined with hair cells similar to those in the cochlea. When you move your head, the fluid in these canals shifts, bending the hair cells and signaling your brain about the direction and speed of movement. Also, in your inner ear are 2 structures called the utricle and sacculae, which detect linear acceleration and gravity. Tiny crystals of calcium carbonate rest on a bed of hair cells. When you tilt your head or accelerate, these crystals shift, bending the hairs underneath. This is how your brain knows which way is up and detects when you're in motion. Your sense of balance integrates information from your inner ears, your eyes, and sensors in your muscles and joints. When these signals conflict, you can experience vertigo or motion sickness. This often happens when reading in a moving vehicle. Your inner ear senses motion, but your eyes, focused on the stationary book, don't. The mismatch confuses your brain. Your sense of smell is more powerful than you might realize. For years, scientists thought humans could distinguish about 10,000 different scents. Recent research suggests the number might be closer to 1 trillion. Your nose contains about 400 different types of olfactory receptors, each sensitive to specific chemical compounds. Different combinations of these receptors firing create unique patterns that your brain interprets as distinct smells. Smell is closely linked to memory and emotion. The olfactory bulb, which processes smell, has direct connections to the hippocampus and amygdala, brain regions involved in memory and emotion. This is why a particular scent can instantly transport you back to a specific time and place, evoking powerful memories and feelings. Your sense of taste is simpler than smell, but still sophisticated. Your tongue is covered with taste buds, most of them clustered in the small bumps called papillae. Each taste bud contains 50 to 100 receptor cells that detect the 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, a savory taste associated with proteins. Taste buds only last about 10 to 14 days before being replaced by new ones. This constant renewal ensures your sense of taste stays sharp, even after the wear and tear of hot foods, spicy foods, and general use. When you have a cold or sinus infection, food often tastes bland. That's not because your taste is affected, but because your sense of smell is blocked. What we think of as taste is actually a combination of taste and smell. Your brain integrates both to create the complex experience we call flavor. Your sense of touch is distributed across your entire body, but sensitivity varies dramatically. Your fingertips are among the most sensitive areas, packed with nerve endings that can detect incredibly fine details. You can feel textures at the scale of a few micrometers. Your lips and tongue are similarly sensitive. Your back, in contrast, has much lower sensitivity. Different receptors detect different aspects of touch. Some respond to pressure, others to vibration, still others to stretch or temperature. Some adapt quickly, firing only when touch begins or ends. Others fire continuously as long as pressure is maintained. Your brain integrates these different signals to create your overall sense of touch. Pain receptors, called nociceptors, are scattered throughout your body. They respond to intense pressure, extreme temperatures, and tissue damage. When activated, they send signals to your spinal cord and brain, alerting you to potential harm. Pain is unpleasant, but it's essential. People born with rare conditions that prevent them from feeling pain typically die young from untreated injuries and infections. Your skin is your largest organ, covering approximately 20 square feet in the average adult and weighing about 8 pounds. It's your first line of defense, a barrier between your internal systems and the external environment. But skin is far more than just a wrapper. It's a complex organ with multiple functions, constantly working to protect you. Skin has 3 main layers. The outermost layer, the epidermis, is what you see and touch. It's made primarily of cells called keratinocytes, which produce keratin, a tough protein that makes skin waterproof and resistant to abrasion. The epidermis contains no blood vessels. It receives nutrients by diffusion from the layer below. The cells you see on your skin's surface are actually dead, filled with keratin and flattened into protective scales. These cells are constantly being shed. You lose about 30 to 40,000 dead skin cells every minute. Over a 24-hour period, you lose about 1 million cells. That's roughly 8 pounds of skin per year. Much of the dust in your home is actually dead skin cells. But you never run out because new cells are constantly being produced at the base of the epidermis. These cells gradually migrate upward over the course of about a month, replacing the cells that are shed. By the time they reach the surface, they've died and become part of your protective outer layer. Your entire outer skin is completely renewed about every 28 to 30 days. Below the epidermis is the dermis, a thicker layer containing blood vessels, nerve endings, hair follicles, and glands. The dermis gives skin its strength and elasticity. It contains collagen and elastin fibers that allow skin to stretch and return to shape. As you age, these fibers break down, which is why skin becomes less elastic and more prone to wrinkles. Your skin is filled with sensors. Nerve endings detect pressure, vibration, heat, cold, and pain. Some of these sensors adapt quickly, firing only when something changes. Others fire continuously, providing constant information about what's touching your skin. The density of these sensors varies across your body, with hands, lips, and genitals having the highest concentration. Your skin also regulates body temperature. When you're hot, blood vessels in your skin dilate, bringing warm blood close to the surface where heat can radiate away. Sweat glands activate, releasing moisture that cools you as it evaporates. When you're cold, blood vessels constrict, keeping warm blood deeper in your body. Small muscles at the base of hair follicles contract, causing goosebumps. This is a vestigial response that was useful when humans had more body hair. It would fluff up the hair, trapping more air for insulation. Now it doesn't do much, but the mechanism remains. Your skin produces vitamin D when exposed to sunlight. UV light converts a cholesterol compound in your skin into pre-vitamin D3, which is then converted into active vitamin D. This vitamin is crucial for calcium absorption and bone health. Before vitamin D supplementation, children who didn't get enough sun exposure often developed rickets, a disease causing soft, weak bones. Skin color comes from melanin, a pigment produced by cells called melanocytes. Everyone has roughly the same number of melanocytes, but they produce different amounts of melanin. More melanin creates darker skin, which provides better protection against UV radiation. This is why populations whose ancestors evolved near the equator tend to have darker skin. Less melanin creates lighter skin, which allows for more vitamin D production in low sun environments. This is why populations from far northern or southern latitudes tend to have lighter skin. Your skin hosts a vast ecosystem of microorganisms. Bacteria, fungi, and mites live on your skin, in your pores, and in hair follicles. Most are harmless or beneficial, crowding out more dangerous species and helping maintain your skin's pH balance. Your skin is slightly acidic, which inhibits the growth of many pathogens. When your skin is injured, it has remarkable repair abilities. Blood vessels constrict immediately to reduce bleeding. Platelets rush to the site and form a clot. Within hours, immune cells arrive to clean up debris and fight infection. Fibroblasts migrate in and begin producing collagen to rebuild the tissue. New blood vessels form to supply the healing area. Epithelial cells multiply and migrate across the wound, closing it from the edges inward. Small wounds can heal completely with no visible scar. Larger wounds typically leave scars because the repair process prioritizes speed over perfection. The collagen fibers in scar tissue are arranged differently than in normal skin, creating a visible mark. Interestingly, fetal skin can heal without scarring. Researchers study this phenomenon, hoping to learn how to replicate it in adults. Your endocrine system, the network of glands that produce hormones, works alongside your nervous system to regulate body functions. While your nervous system uses electrical signals for rapid, short-term communication, your endocrine system uses chemical signals for slower, longer-lasting effects. Hormones are molecules released into your bloodstream that affect cells throughout your body. Each hormone has specific target cells with receptors that recognize it. When a hormone binds to its receptor, it triggers changes in the cell, anything from activating genes to opening ion channels to releasing stored glucose. Your pituitary gland, often called the master gland, sits at the base of your brain and controls many other endocrine glands. It's only about the size of a pea, but it produces numerous hormones that regulate growth, blood pressure, reproduction, and more. Growth hormone, produced by the pituitary, stimulates growth during childhood and adolescence. Too much causes gigantism. Too little causes dwarfism. Your thyroid gland, located in your neck, produces hormones that regulate metabolism. These hormones affect how quickly you burn energy, how fast your heart beats, even how active your mind feels. An overactive thyroid can cause anxiety, rapid heartbeat, and weight loss. An underactive thyroid causes fatigue, weight gain, and depression. Your adrenal glands, sitting atop your kidneys, produce stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. When you perceive danger, real or imagined, your adrenal glands flood your system with these hormones. Your heart rate increases, blood pressure rises, digestion slows, blood sugar increases. You're prepared for fight or flight, ready to respond to the perceived threat. This response was crucial for survival when threats were immediate and physical. In modern life, where stresses are often chronic and psychological, this response can become problematic, contributing to various health issues. Your pancreas produces insulin and glucagon, hormones that regulate blood sugar. After you eat, blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin, which signals cells to absorb glucose from the blood. Between meals, blood sugar drops. Your pancreas releases glucagon, which signals your liver to release stored glucose. This delicate balance keeps your blood sugar within a narrow, healthy range. Diabetes occurs when this system fails, either because the pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin or because cells become resistant to insulin's signal. Sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen control reproduction and influence many other body systems. These hormones affect bone density, muscle mass, fat distribution, and even brain function. The levels of these hormones change throughout life, spiking during puberty, remaining relatively stable during adulthood, and declining in later years. These changes profoundly affect both body and behavior. Melatonin, produced by your pineal gland, regulates your sleep-wake cycle. Its production increases in darkness and decreases in light, helping your body know when it's time to sleep. This is part of your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that synchronizes your body with the 24-hour day. Light exposure, especially blue light from screens, can suppress melatonin production, which is why using electronic devices before bed can interfere with sleep. Your body has intricate feedback loops to regulate hormone levels. When a hormone level gets too high, it inhibits its own production. When it gets too low, production increases. These feedback mechanisms keep your body in balance, maintaining homeostasis despite constantly changing conditions. Your urinary system, centered on your kidneys, performs one of the most crucial tasks in your body, filtering your blood and removing waste. Your two kidneys are bean-shaped organs, each about the size of your fist, located in your lower back, one on each side of your spine. Each kidney contains about 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Blood enters each nephron through a cluster of capillaries called a glomerulus. The capillary walls here are specially designed to let water and small molecules pass through while keeping blood cells and large proteins in the bloodstream. This filtered fluid then passes through a long, twisted tube where most of the water and useful molecules are reabsorbed into the bloodstream. What's left, mostly water and waste products like urea, becomes urine. Your kidneys filter your entire blood volume about 40 times per day. That means every day they process roughly 50 gallons of blood, removing about 2 quarts of waste and extra water. This waste becomes urine, which flows from your kidneys through tubes called ureters to your bladder, where it's stored until you urinate. Your kidneys do more than just remove waste. They regulate blood pressure by controlling how much water stays in your bloodstream. They balance electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and calcium. They maintain blood pH, keeping it slightly alkaline. They produce erythropoietin, a hormone that stimulates red blood cell production. they activate vitamin D. Without functioning kidneys, waste products accumulate in your blood, electrolyte balance goes haywire, and you would die within days without dialysis or a transplant. Remarkably, you can function normally with just one kidney. If one is removed due to disease or donation, the remaining kidney gradually increases in size and capacity, compensating for the loss. This is why living kidney donation is possible. A donor can give one kidney to someone who needs it and still live a completely normal life. Your liver, your body's largest internal organ, also plays a crucial role in filtering and detoxification. Weighing about 3 pounds, it sits in your upper right abdomen, tucked under your ribs. Your liver performs over 500 different functions, making it one of the most versatile organs in your body. All the blood from your digestive system flows through your liver before going anywhere else. This gives your liver first access to absorbed nutrients, which it can process, store, or distribute as needed. Your liver stores glucose as glycogen, releasing it when blood sugar drops. It produces proteins needed for blood clotting. It breaks down old red blood cells, recycling their components. It produces bile, essential for digesting fats. But perhaps most impressive is your liver's detoxification ability. Anything potentially harmful that you ingest, alcohol, medications, environmental toxins, even metabolic waste products, your liver processes it. Specialized enzymes transform these substances into less harmful forms that can be excreted. Your liver can handle a remarkable amount of toxins, but it has limits. Overwhelming it with too much too fast, like in alcohol poisoning, can cause liver damage. Your liver has an extraordinary ability to regenerate. If up to 75% of your liver is removed, the remaining portion can regrow to full size within months. This regenerative capacity is unique among internal organs. It's also why liver transplantation is possible. A living donor can give a portion of their liver to someone who needs it. Both the donor's remaining liver and the transplanted portion will grow to appropriate sizes. As we've explored throughout this journey, your body has remarkable regenerative capacities. Many tissues continuously replace themselves, maintaining function despite constant wear and tear. This regeneration is one of the most miraculous aspects of being alive. Your red blood cells, as we mentioned, last about 120 days. Your bone marrow produces about 2 million new ones every second. White blood cells have varying lifespans depending on type. Neutrophils, which make up the majority of white blood cells, live only hours to days. Lymphocytes can live for months, years, or even decades in the case of memory cells. The cells lining your gut face perhaps the harshest environment in your body. They're constantly exposed to digestive enzymes, acid, bacteria, and the physical abrasion of food passing through. Not surprisingly, they have one of the shortest lifespans of any cells. The epithelial cells lining your small intestine are completely replaced every 3 to 5 days. The stomach lining, as we discussed, renews itself every 3 to 4 days. Your taste buds, exposed to hot liquids, acidic foods, and constant use, are replaced every 10 to 14 days. This frequent replacement ensures your sense of taste remains sharp throughout life, despite the punishment your tongue endures. Your lung tissue gradually renews itself. The cells lining your airways are replaced every few months. The deeper lung tissue, the alveoli where gas exchange occurs, renews more slowly over the course of a year or so. This renewal helps repair damage from pollution, infections, and normal wear and tear. Even your heart, once thought to have no regenerative capacity, can actually replace some of its cells. The process is slow, less than 1% per year in young adults, and even slower as you age. But it means your heart isn't entirely static, that some repair and renewal occurs even in this hardest working of organs. Your liver, as mentioned, can regenerate dramatically after injury. But even without injury, liver cells are slowly but continuously replaced. Most liver cells live about a year before being replaced. Your bones completely remodel themselves about every 10 years through the constant work of osteoclasts and osteoblasts. Your skeleton adapts to how you use it, becoming stronger where stressed and weaker where not used. Astronauts in zero gravity lose bone density because their bones aren't bearing weight. People confined to bed for long periods experience similar bone loss. But when stress returns, bones rebuild. This capacity for regeneration means you're never quite the same person you were years ago, at least not at the cellular level. The collection of cells that makes up your body is constantly changing, a ship of Theseus situation, where parts are continuously replaced while the whole remains identifiably you. Some tissues, however, have little to no capacity for renewal. Heart muscle cells, neurons in most parts of your brain, and the cells in your eye's lens are with you for life. Damage to these cells is often permanent. This is why heart attacks, strokes, and certain eye conditions can cause lasting disability. The cells lost can't be replaced. This variation in regenerative capacity influences how your body ages. Tissues that regenerate well can maintain function longer. Those that don't gradually accumulate damage, losing function over time. Understanding and potentially enhancing regeneration is a major focus of medical research, with the hope of treating currently untreatable conditions. Your body operates on rhythms, cycles that repeat over hours, days, or longer periods. The most important is your circadian rhythm, your internal 24-hour clock that synchronizes your body with the day-night cycle. Nearly every cell in your body has its own molecular clock, genes that turn on and off in roughly 24-hour cycles. These clocks regulate when genes are expressed, when proteins are produced, when metabolic processes occur. Different organs peak in activity at different times. Your liver, for instance, is most active in the early morning hours. Your lungs function best in the afternoon. Your master clock sits in your brain, in a tiny region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This cluster of about 20,000 neurons receives direct input from your eyes about light levels. Bright light, especially blue light, resets this clock each day, keeping it synchronized with the actual day-night cycle. Without this light input, your natural rhythm would drift, running slightly longer than 24 hours for most people. This master clock coordinates all your body's other clocks, keeping everything synchronized. It controls melatonin release, body temperature fluctuations, hormone secretion, and more. Your body temperature, for instance, is lowest in the early morning and highest in the late afternoon, varying by about 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit over the course of a day. Your sleep-wake cycle is perhaps the most obvious circadian rhythm. Melatonin levels rise in the evening, making you feel sleepy. They peak in the middle of the night and drop toward morning. Cortisol levels follow the opposite pattern, lowest at night and peaking in the morning, helping you wake up. Disrupting these rhythms through shift work or jet lag affects more than just your sleep. It can impair cognitive function, weaken immune response, alter metabolism, and increase disease risk. People who regularly work night shifts have higher rates of various health problems, likely because they're constantly fighting against their circadian rhythms. Your body also follows longer rhythms. Women experience monthly hormonal cycles. Various biological processes follow seasonal rhythms. Some aspects of immune function are stronger in winter, perhaps an evolutionary adaptation to increase disease transmission in cold months, when people spend more time indoors together. Even your lifespan follows a rhythm of sorts, the predictable progression from birth through development, maturity, aging, and death. Each stage brings changes in body composition, hormone levels, cellular function, and more. Understanding these rhythms and how to work with them rather than against them is increasingly recognized as important for health. Throughout this exploration, we've described the mechanisms of life, the physical processes that keep your body functioning. But behind all of this lies perhaps the deepest mystery: consciousness itself. How does the firing of neurons in your brain create the subjective experience of being you? Why does it feel like something to be alive? Your conscious experience emerges from patterns of neural activity in your brain. When you see a red rose, specific neurons fire in response to the wavelength of light. When you smell its fragrance, different neurons activate in response to chemical compounds. When you remember where you first received roses from someone special, yet another network activates. All of these activities happening simultaneously and integrating create the unified experience of perceiving and thinking about a rose. But how these objective, physical processes create subjective experience remains deeply puzzling. This is what philosopher David Chalmers called the hard problem of consciousness. We can explain the easy problems: how the brain processes information, how it controls behavior, even how it integrates information from different senses. But explaining why these processes feel like something, why there's something it's like to be you, that's the hard problem. Some philosophers and scientists think consciousness is simply what complex information processing feels like from the inside. Others think something crucial is missing from our current understanding, that consciousness might involve quantum processes or other phenomena we don't yet understand. Still, others think the question itself might be misguided, that consciousness isn't a separate thing to be explained, but simply an aspect of how certain physical systems work. What we do know is that consciousness is intimately tied to brain function. Damage to specific brain regions can alter consciousness in specific ways. Damage to visual cortex can eliminate visual awareness while leaving other aspects of consciousness intact. Damage to frontal regions can change personality, affect decision-making, or impair self-awareness. General anesthetics somehow disrupt the neural processes that generate consciousness, creating a reversible state where you're alive and your body continues functioning, but you're not consciously experiencing anything. Your waking consciousness is not constant. It fluctuates throughout the day. In the morning, you might be groggy, your thoughts slow and unfocused. By midday, you're typically at your peak alertness. In the evening, you begin to wind down again. These fluctuations correspond to changes in brain activity, neurotransmitter levels, and hormone levels. Even within waking consciousness, your mental state varies. Sometimes you're focused and attentive, your mind sharp and clear. Other times, you're in a flow state, so absorbed in what you're doing that self-awareness fades. Sometimes your mind wanders, drifting from thought to thought without direction. All of these are different modes of consciousness, each with distinct neural signatures. Sleep brings dramatic changes in consciousness. As you fall asleep, you pass through different stages, each characterized by distinct brain activity patterns. In light sleep, you're partly aware of your surroundings, easily awakened. In deep sleep, you're profoundly unconscious, and if awakened, you're disoriented and groggy. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, your brain activity resembles waking consciousness in many ways, yet you're not consciously experiencing the real world. You're experiencing a simulated world created entirely by your brain. Dreams themselves are a fascinating aspect of consciousness. During dreams, you have experiences, often bizarre and illogical, that seem completely real while they're happening. Your brain creates a world, populates it with people and objects, generates a narrative, all without any external input. And you, the conscious observer, experience this simulation as if it were reality. Only upon waking do you recognize it as a dream. The boundary between consciousness and unconsciousness isn't as sharp as you might think. Patients emerging from anesthesia or coma often pass through states of partial awareness. Some neurological conditions create states where patients are conscious but unable to respond, locked inside their own minds. Others create states of responsiveness without apparent consciousness, where patients can perform complex actions while seemingly not aware. Your sense of self, of being a continuous person persisting through time, is itself constructed by your brain. Memory plays a crucial role. Without memory, there's no continuity. Patients with severe amnesia live in an eternal present, unable to form new, long-term memories. Each moment for them is new, disconnected from what came before. They have consciousness, but lack the narrative continuity most of us take for granted. Your consciousness is also limited. You can only pay attention to a small amount of information at once. Your brain is constantly filtering, selecting what to bring into awareness and what to ignore. Right now, you weren't consciously aware of the sensation of clothing on your skin until you read this sentence. The sensation was always there, but your brain filtered it out as unimportant. Now that attention has been drawn to it, you notice it. This filtering is essential. Without it, you'd be overwhelmed by sensory input. Your conscious experience is also delayed. It takes time for sensory information to be processed and integrated. What you're experiencing as now actually happened a fraction of a second ago. Your brain hides this delay, creating the illusion of real-time experience. It also fills in gaps, makes predictions, and sometimes makes mistakes, creating optical illusions and other perceptual errors. Consciousness remains one of the great unsolved problems in science. Despite tremendous advances in neuroscience, despite our ability to image the brain in action and record individual neurons, we still don't fully understand how or why consciousness exists. It's a reminder that for all we've learned about the body, mysteries remain, wonders still to be explored. As you lie here, perhaps drifting towards sleep, all of these systems we've discussed continue their work. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your brain processes, your immune system patrols, your digestive system extracts nutrients. Cells divide, proteins fold, genes express. It's a symphony of staggering complexity, all happening without conscious thought, without effort, without awareness. Consider what's occurring right now, in this moment. In your bone marrow, millions of blood cells are being produced. In your gut, bacteria are breaking down food and producing vitamins. In your liver, enzymes are processing toxins. In your kidneys, blood is being filtered. In your skin, dead cells are being shed and new ones are rising to replace them. In your brain, neurons are firing in patterns that create your thoughts, your perceptions, your sense of being you. All of this requires energy. Even at rest, your body burns roughly 1 calorie per minute, about 1,400 to 1,800 calories per day, just to maintain basic functions. This energy comes from the food you eat, broken down into glucose and other molecules, processed through cellular respiration to produce ATP, the molecular currency of energy your cells use. Every cell in your body runs on this currency. When a muscle contracts, it spends ATP. When a neuron fires, it spends ATP. When a cell divides, when a protein is synthesized, when anything active happens, it requires ATP. Your mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells, produce this ATP through a complex series of chemical reactions, extracting energy from nutrients and transferring it to a form cells can use. The coordination required for all this is extraordinary. Different systems must work together, communicate, support each other. Your cardiovascular system delivers oxygen that your respiratory system gathered. Your digestive system provides nutrients that your cardiovascular system distributes. Your nervous system coordinates everything. Your endocrine system fine-tunes it. Your immune system protects it all. And you don't have to think about any of it. You don't have to tell your heart to beat, or your stomach to digest, or your kidneys to filter. These processes are automatic. managed by systems that operate below the level of consciousness. This automation frees your conscious mind for other things, for thinking, creating, connecting with others, experiencing the world. Your body is resilient, capable of healing from injury, fighting off infection, adapting to changing conditions. It can survive extremes of temperature, recover from severe trauma, compensate for lost organs. It has backup systems for critical functions. You have 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, but you can survive with 1 of each. You can lose significant portions of your liver and it will regrow. Your blood can clot to seal wounds. Your immune system can learn and remember. Yet your body is also fragile in some ways. Certain injuries, certain diseases, can cause permanent damage. Aging gradually wears down various systems. The cellular machinery makes mistakes, occasionally producing cancer cells. Genetic variations can lead to disorders. Environmental factors can cause harm. Life is a constant balance. Your body continuously working to maintain itself against entropy, against the natural tendency of complex systems to break down. The fact that this balance holds for decades, that most humans live 70, 80, even 90 years or more, is remarkable. Think about a car. With careful maintenance, a car might last 20 years. Your body, far more complex, maintains itself for several times that long. And it does this largely on its own, with you providing just the basics: food, water, sleep, movement. Your body also changes throughout life. Infancy and childhood are times of rapid growth and development. Adolescence brings puberty, a massive restructuring of body and brain. Young adulthood represents peak physical capability. Middle age brings gradual changes, some declines in function, but often gains in experience and judgment. Older age brings more pronounced changes, but also often brings wisdom, perspective, contentment. Each stage has its own characteristics, its own challenges and gifts. Your body at 20 is not better or worse than your body at 60, just different. Both are human bodies. Both are capable of experiencing life, of love and connection, of joy and meaning. The journey through these stages is part of being human, part of the experience of having a body that exists in time. Your body doesn't exist in isolation. You're constantly interacting with other bodies, other biological systems. Every handshake, every hug, every kiss involves the meeting of 2 complex systems: the exchange of microbiomes, the transmission of pheromones, the activation of social bonding mechanisms in your brain. Touch, physical contact with others, has profound effects. Studies show that premature infants who receive regular gentle touch grow faster and develop better than those who don't. Children deprived of physical affection show impaired development. Adults in loving physical relationships tend to be healthier than isolated individuals. Touch releases oxytocin, a hormone involved in bonding and trust. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. It activates reward centers in your brain. Your immune system is trained partly by exposure to other people's microbiomes. Children who grow up in environments with varied microbial exposure, farms, households with pets, large families, tend to have stronger immune systems and lower rates of allergies and autoimmune diseases. Living in overly sterile environments, paradoxically, can make your immune system more prone to malfunction. Communication between humans engages multiple body systems. Speech requires precise coordination of muscles in your diaphragm, throat, tongue, and lips. Your brain must select words, construct sentences, time everything perfectly. Listening activates your auditory system, your language processing centers, your memory systems. Nonverbal communication engages visual processing, mirror neurons that help you understand others' actions and emotions. brain systems involved in empathy and theory of mind. The emotional states of others affect your body. Seeing someone smile activates similar patterns in your brain, often causing you to smile in return. Seeing someone in pain activates your own pain systems to some degree, creating empathy. Stress is contagious. Being around anxious people raises your cortisol levels. Similarly, being around calm, happy people tends to reduce stress and improve mood. Your body is also home to a vast ecosystem, as we discussed earlier. The bacteria on your skin, in your mouth, in your gut, these aren't invaders but partners, evolved alongside humanity for millions of years. They help you in ways you couldn't help yourself. You provide them with an environment and food. It's a symbiotic relationship, mutually beneficial. You exchange microbiomes with people you live with, especially those you're physically close to. Couples who live together for years develop increasingly similar microbiomes. Parents and children share microbiomes. Even pets influence your microbial community. You are not a discrete, isolated biological unit, but an interconnected ecosystem, constantly exchanging organisms and information with your environment and the people around you. Throughout this long journey through the systems and functions of your body, a central theme emerges: the extraordinary nature of existence itself. That matter, arranged in particular ways, can become alive. That atoms forged in stars can come together to form cells, organs, systems. That these systems can sustain themselves, reproduce, evolve, adapt. That consciousness can emerge from neural activity. That you can exist, can experience, can think about your own existence. The probability of any particular human existing is vanishingly small. Consider all the events that had to occur for you to be here. Your parents had to meet. Of all the times they could have conceived, they had to conceive at that particular moment, allowing those specific sperm and egg to meet. Go back another generation, and the improbability multiplies. Go back thousands of generations, and it becomes almost inconceivable that you, specifically you, would exist. And yet, here you are. The specific configuration of matter and energy that is you, that experiences this moment, exists. From a certain perspective, your existence is the most improbable thing imaginable. From another perspective, given the vastness of space and time, the countless opportunities for complexity to arise, perhaps some form of life, consciousness, was inevitable. But this doesn't diminish the wonder. You still exist. You still experience. Your body is a bridge between the physical and the mental, between matter and consciousness. Through your senses, the physical world creates patterns in your nervous system, and these patterns become experience, qualia, the felt quality of being alive. Through your actions, your intentions, your thoughts, consciousness influences the physical world. You are neither purely physical nor purely mental, but somehow both, intertwined in ways we're still working to understand. The story of your body is also the story of evolution, of billions of years of life adapting and changing. Every structure in your body has a history. Your eyes resemble fish eyes because we share common ancestors. Your inner ear bones were once part of a reptilian jaw. Your spine shows your heritage as a vertebrate. The hair that stands up when you're cold or scared is a remnant of thicker fur that once covered your ancestors. You are a living museum of evolutionary history. Yet you're also unique. No one else has exactly your combination of genes, unless you have an identical twin. And even then, life experiences create differences. Your fingerprints are unique. Your iris pattern is unique. Your brain's exact wiring is unique. Even your microbiome, though influenced by environment, has unique aspects. You are both universal, sharing the basic human body plan with all other humans, and utterly individual, unlike anyone who has ever existed or will ever exist. Your body will change over your remaining years. Cells will divide and die. Tissues will repair and renew. Some functions will decline while others might improve. You will accumulate experiences, memories, changes. The you of tomorrow will be slightly different from the you of today, continuing the river of transformation that is life. And eventually, far in the future we hope, your body will cease functioning. The systems we've described will shut down, one by one, until finally consciousness fades and you return to the matter and energy from which you came. But that end, inevitable though it is, makes this moment, every moment, precious. You are alive now. Your heart is beating. Your breath moves in and out. Neurons fire in your brain, creating this very thought. You exist, experiencing this moment of being. Whatever happens tomorrow, next year, decades from now, right now, you are alive. Your body, this incredible system we've explored together, is doing what it does, maintaining, regulating, processing, experiencing. As we near the end of our journey together, your body continues its quiet work. Perhaps you're already drifting into sleep, your brain shifting from waking consciousness into the different states of sleep. Your muscles are relaxing more fully. Your breathing is slowing, deepening. Your heart rate is dropping. All the systems that ramp up during waking hours are beginning to shift into their nighttime modes. During sleep, your body doesn't rest in the sense of stopping. It continues all the vital functions we've discussed, but it changes its priorities. Growth hormone release increases. Cellular repair accelerates. Your brain processes memories, consolidating important ones and letting go of trivial details. Waste products that accumulate in your brain during waking hours are cleared out through the glymphatic system, a nighttime cleaning service for your brain. Sleep is not a luxury or a waste of time. It's a biological necessity, as important as food and water. During sleep, your immune system strengthens, your muscles repair, your energy reserves refill, memories consolidate, emotions stabilize. People deprived of sleep for too long experience deteriorating physical and mental function, eventually even hallucinations and psychosis. Your body needs sleep, craves it, particularly as the day wears on and sleep pressure builds. As you surrender to sleep, you're not losing consciousness so much as shifting it. You'll pass through different stages, cycling from light to deep sleep and back, with periods of REM sleep interspersed. Each stage serves functions we're still working to fully understand, but together they restore you, prepare you for another day of being alive. The fact that you can lie down, close your eyes, and let sleep take you is itself a kind of miracle. It requires trust that your body will continue functioning without conscious oversight, that your heart will keep beating, your lungs will keep breathing, your brain will keep regulating everything, all while you're not consciously present. Every night, you practice a kind of small death, letting go of awareness, trusting in processes beyond your control to maintain your life and bring you back to consciousness in the morning. And they do. Morning after morning, you wake. The cycle continues. Your body persists. Life goes on. The same systems we've explored tonight will be working tomorrow and the next day and the next. They'll adapt to what you do, how you live, the choices you make. They'll support you through whatever comes. They are, quite literally, what makes your life possible. So as you drift now towards sleep, perhaps you can feel a sense of appreciation for this body you inhabit, for the heart that beats without being asked, for the lungs that breathe while you dream, for the immune system standing guard while you rest, for the brain that will bring you back to consciousness when morning comes, for all the countless cells and systems working in harmony to keep you alive. You don't have to do anything. You can simply rest. Let your body do what it does best. Maintain, repair, restore. Trust in these systems that have sustained life for billions of years. that sustain your life right now. You are safe. You are cared for by your own body, if nothing else. And sleep, when it comes, is simply your body shifting into another mode of being, still alive, still you, still here. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the human body, through your body. If you found this exploration interesting or helpful, I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to discover, so many more wonders to explore. But for now, rest, sleep, dream, and know that whatever tomorrow brings, your remarkable body will be there, working as it always does, keeping you alive, keeping you. Sleep well. Good night.